You know, everybody's got one of those people in their family. You know what I mean? The ones that go against the grain, just making poor decisions, sometimes making life harder for the other members of the family. You know, the black sheep, or in this case, the black Grail sheep. Well, for Trench Crusade and the demon princes, that is Beelzebub. You know, Lord of the Flies, Lord of Gluttony. That's him. Just thinks he's always right. You know, turning people into flies and stuff like that. This guy's a real jerk. Hello and welcome to another episode of Blast Arcade Painting. Today we are painting the Lord of Tumours, Grail Hounds, and some Fly Thralls for Trench Crusade. And this is for the faction, the Black Grail, which is led by, or headed by, or whatever you want to call it, Beelzebub, the Lord of Flies. So it's all disgusting people that have been turned into gross, nasty monsters and stuff, which is really cool. So the Lord of Tumours and the Grail Hounds are all the official sculpts from Factory Fortress, official for Trench Crusade, and the Fly Thralls are from Imago Miniatures, which is on my mini factory. Look them up. They have some really cool stuff, and these really caught my eye. So we're going to do some simple, easy ways to paint these. Luckily, they're disgusting and melted and awful, so we can do a lot of wet blending and do this in a very simple sort of way for you guys. And maybe you can get your Black Grail on the table a little faster and looking a little nicer. Well, nicer's not the right word. Looking a little bit more disgustinger. Nicer's not the right word, and disgustinger is not a word at all. So before I say anything else that's really ridiculous, let us start painting. We'll just start painting. First thing I did was give these guys a spray of purple, and then a zenithal of necrotic flesh. So you guys knew I used gloss grape bristolium for the purple. My local hardware store doesn't have a huge selection of aerosol sprays, and actually I've noticed in Canada compared to the States there's just less of a selection anyway. So it was a gloss spray which I didn't want to then airbrush over, so I sprayed it purple. I then matte sprayed it after it was all dried, and then I did my zenithal of necrotic flesh, and I just did that with the airbrush. But you could use a tan or something else with the spray aerosol can instead if you wanted. This is just how I did it, but you can achieve this with just using aerosol cans. So that would be purple gloss, matte spray, tan spray. So there you go. There's some info for you. And I'm going to take Malignant Green, Familiar Pink, Bile Yellow, Blue Black, and Speed Paint Medium. So all of these are getting thinned down. So the Malignant Green is like the main body color, and I will put that over pretty much everything. And then I'll start wet blending in Familiar Pink to some of the more gross areas, and then the Bile Yellow goes down here on its sack. Oh god. And then more Familiar Pink until I just kind of wet blend and make it look the way I want. And, you know, on his arm here, we're going to get that Malignant Green, and then the pink, and then more pink wherever there's like spots that look more sore, and then of course the Bile Yellow. And we want to make sure everything dries. So once we're done wet blending, we're just going to leave them alone for a bit, just to let them dry as much as possible. The Fly Thralls are getting the Malignant Green everywhere, and the only difference for them is that we're going to be using the Blue Black, which we haven't used on the other two. So the Blue Black is to start wet blending in the parts that are turning more into flies, which is disgusting. And then you can add in your pink and wet blend your pinks into their terrible areas as well. And the wings should probably be black, and there are also some flies just on them. So, and then a little bit on the eye, and I put some pink around the eye as well. And jumping ahead here, blue-black on the Lord of Tumours nails. He looks more finished right now because I forgot to do this, so I want to save you guys time. It goes on his nails. Then we're taking some old gold here, and this is going over any of those armor plates. I don't know if there's an official paint job for this character, but this is how I envisioned it, or how this is the colors I wanted. Basically, was the purple and the gold, and there's also still that purple from the original spray. We're going to take some Luxion purple next, and this is just going to go all over his robes that he has. Again, like I said, we're going to go really simple with how we paint these guys. We're taking some ochre clay next. This is going to go on the horns that he has up here on his, I don't know if they're part of the helmet or not. Maybe are they his? It doesn't matter. It's also going on the needle of the Hounds face. The needle? The sucker? What is that called again? Doesn't really matter. It's a needle. They're disgusting creatures. They're really cool. There's a couple things in the Black Grail that I don't really like the designs of, but the Lord of Tumours and the Grail Hounds I think are top notch. Really cool, really awesome designs. Like they have a mosquito mouth. They're really, really gross. We're going to take some Speed Paint Medium, some Fire Drake, and some Carmine Dragon. So this is mostly Fire Drake with a drop of Carmine Dragon, and then thin down with Speed Paint Medium for a wash for all the metallics on the Lord of Tumours. That gold is really cool, but we wanted to look a little bit more regal, I guess. I just wanted a wash that made it seem, I don't know, more like a rich wash, like a rich gold, but still kind of maintaining that older look. And none of the washes I had really exactly had what I wanted. So this was kind of my compromise to make up my own. And I like it. And I also don't want to put any tarnish on it or rust or verdigris or anything like that. I want it to be like somehow he maintains this. He maintains this armor that's literally his skin is growing over. So someone's cleaning him up. Someone's giving him the most horrific sponge bath you can imagine. Next, we're taking some more skin shade and some Speed Paint Medium. This is thinned down, and this is just going all over the Grail Hounds. Then we're grabbing some Voodoo Shade and some Speed Paint Medium, and this is going all over the Fly Thralls, which is really cool. We don't want it to pool too much. We just want it to settle in where it needs to, but not too heavily. It's also going to go all over the Lord of Tumours here. Again, wick away anything that pools too much. And we're going to grab some Celestial Azure, and we're not going to do a dry brush, but more of like an overbrush over the wings. Now this is after I have finished the bases. I have sprayed them with a matte spray, so this will stay shiny, and then these guys are all done. What do you guys think? Disgusting and horrible, right? Like, fun, disgusting miniatures. Honestly, you can go in and do a lot more work. You could dry brush colors on there. You could go in and layer up some of the pinks and yellows and greens and do whatever you wanted to really make these things pop and destroy terribleness. But I wanted to make it super simple for you guys to follow if you want to. This can also be easily used for anything Nurgle. Really easy way to paint Nurgle stuff. And that purple undertone really helps kind of give us a much more depth into our colors and stuff. And it just looks a little bit more natural and, well, as natural as these things can look. But what are your thoughts? Would you paint something like this for Trench Crusade? use this sort of color scheme, or would you use it for Nurgle at all? Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, or let me know in the comments below how you painted yours or painted your Nurgle characters. And as always, we want to thank our Patreon supporters, Charming Grenade, Richie Fender, LK, Blasterboy Mike, Stuart Drake, and Bowties and Bugbears. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. You are the best. And as always, I want to thank all of you for watching today. Please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff, and check out our other channel, Blastercaded Playing, where we've been playing some fun games and really enjoying it. So please check that out, and have a great rest of your day. Go paint!